Hey folks, happy Monday. If you're feeling jittery, it might not be the coffee. It might be your bank. We are talking data breaches at major financial institutions and the decentralized solutions now knocking on their firewall doors. And yep, we are bringing caffeine to that party too. Both the real kind and the internet computer's AI assistant. Utopia ICP's sovereign cloud model is also back in the spotlight. The question is, can either of them fuel real value for the token? Let's get into it. And if you like what we are building here, you will find the donation wallet in the description. Let's start with some uncomfortable news. Another wave of uncomfortable headlines just hit the financial sector. JP Morgan, Bank of America, and TD Bank have all confirmed customer data breaches. The compromised info includes names, account details, and in some cases, social security numbers. Not exactly the stuff you want floating around in the wild. So far, the banks haven't said how many individuals were affected. But let's be honest, it doesn't take a big number to spark a big trust issue. As these institutions scramble to reassure customers and patch things up, something interesting is happening in dev circles. A new kind of compute model is starting to look, well, timely. Dominic Williams, the founder of the Internet Computer Protocol, chimed in with a nod to Utopia, a long rumored deployment framework that allows banks and institutions to run their own private version of the Internet computer. And according to him, several known US banks are already preparing to test it. In response to a simple user comment, what happened to Utopia? Williams replied, it's almost ready. He also confirmed Utopia will be compatible with Caffeine, ICP's upcoming AI compute layer. That's a big deal. It means developers can run AI powered tools in both public and private context, with what's being described as total coverage. But let's step back. What is Utopia really? It's essentially a sovereign serverless cloud, a private version of the Internet computer designed for corporations and governments. Think of it as a decentralized backbone that doesn't live on the open web, but still speaks the same tech language as ICP. It can operate in isolation to meet regulatory or security needs, but if needed, it can hook back into the public network. So, why is it being mentioned in the same breath as a bank data breach? Because Utopia aims to replace the patchwork cloud setups that banks rely on today. The current reality involves juggling centralized storage, third party cloud providers, and fragmented security tools. When even industry giants like JP Morgan, with their massive IT teams, suffer breaches, something is clearly broken. Utopia offers an alternative. It's cryptographically verified at the core with built in security, not bolted on solutions. Banks could theoretically run fraud detection systems, compliance tools, or even customer apps on this sovereign infrastructure, which are isolated, auditable, and private. And then there is Caffeine. It's the AI engine being developed to run within the ICP ecosystem. Lightweight and decentralized, it's designed to bring inference and decision making closer to the data itself. When paired with Utopia, Caffeine could help banks run sensitive AI workloads like personalization or fraud monitoring without offloading that data to third parties. That's a sharp contrast from today's model, where banks rely heavily on black box SaaS vendors and multi cloud platforms that live well outside their control. And when that trust breaks, it lands in headlines and lawsuits. So the message from Williams is clear. Secure decentralized compute shouldn't just be an option. It needs to be part of how financial infrastructure is built. Utopia, backed by ICP's architecture, is how they plan to do it. There is no official list of which banks are first in line, but clues point outside the US, likely in places where data sovereignty and regulatory compliance carry extra weight. And with breach fatigue setting in across the sector, these trials might be arriving at just the right time. If it works, Utopia won't just be a tech flex. It could shift the financial conversation from damage control to design integrity. And for a protocol like ICP, that's a powerful position to occupy. Now, let's zoom out a little. It's an odd time in the internet computer ecosystem. On one hand, a sleek new AI coding platform is promising to accelerate development for everyone from blockchain noobs to hobbyist devs. On the other, Definity's flagship enterprise play is building private blockchains that hardly touch the public ledger. One is named Caffeine, the other is Utopia. Only one burns ICP. This distinction matters because ICP's economic model hinges on burning tokens. The more computation and storage a canister uses, the more cycles it burns, and those cycles are fueled by converting ICP. Token burn equals token value, at least in theory. But as the ecosystem branches into new directions, the question that hangs over both projects is simple. Are they doing enough for the token? Let's start with Utopia. Announced by Definity as a sovereign cloud framework for enterprise, Utopia is not another canister running on the public IC. It's a separate network, its own chain, or set of subnets built using internet computer tech but not hosted by the public network. It doesn't interact with the internet computer in real time. It doesn't consume ICP cycles for routine compute. And it doesn't burn ICP unless you choose to register it formally on the network nervous system. That's the heart of the unease. If Utopia doesn't draw on public ICP infrastructure for compute, what ties it back to the token? The official line is that Utopia helps prove the model, gets large organizations familiar with ICP, and encourages adoption of the tech stack. Dominic Williams has said that a fee will be paid, presumably in ICP, to register each Utopia on the NNS and that this fee will be burned. But aside from that one time charge, utopias can run indefinitely, off grid, and ICP holders see no recurring benefit. The fee burning is a good concept and it's being done on Tau for subnet creation. Although it's not burning Tau, it locks up Tau. Burning is cool, but there is no clarity on what happens after that. Will there be an annual fees? Let's presume so. Would be great if Definity can let us all know. Forum debates have been quietly fierce. There is no token sync between the Utopia world and the ICP world, said one user. So we have decoupled the thing we are all invested in from the flagship product. Others have defended the strategy, arguing that pushing the IC protocol into closed enterprise clouds will eventually bring more users, devs, and legitimacy to the network. Perhaps. But this is a bet on indirect benefit. There is no direct mechanism tying Utopia's success to token value today. Contrast this with Caffeine. This AI powered dev assistant is very much a public IC product. Its value proposition is simple. Tell the AI what you want to build, and it writes the code, wraps it in a canister, and lets you deploy it straight to the chain. That means users, developers, or otherwise are producing on chain apps that burn cycles. And burning cycles is good for ICP. That's the theory. The reality, at least for now, it's a bit more tepid. While caffeine apps do deploy to the internet computer, and yes, they consume cycles when they run, the AI assistant itself doesn't. The code writing logic isn't on chain yet. It likely runs on centralized servers. You only burn ICP when the final app is uploaded and used. So the platform itself isn't gulping down cycles, it's nudging others to do so. There is still potential here. If Caffeine makes it easier for known coders to deploy dApps, that could open the gates to a broader base of users. More canisters, more usage, more burning. But the rate of that growth is still speculative. And given the fierce pace of AI tooling in Web 2, where platforms like Replit and GitHub Copilot dominate, it's not obvious that Caffeine has a lock on the market. Its unique edge lies in integrating AI coding with on chain deployment, something few others can offer in one step. If that workflow proves sticky, ICP could see a steady increase in burn. Still, the tension remains. One platform drives activity toward the chain and might increase token demand. The other builds prestige and partnerships, but mostly operates outside the token economy. And while Definity has framed this as a dual strategy, enterprise reach and public growth, it's clear that some in the community feel left out of the loop. Much of that frustration stems from a lack of clarity. What are the actual fees paid to register a utopia? Are there any plans to bridge these private chains with the public network in the future? Could cycles one day flow between them? And with caffeine as the long term plan to move the AI inference engine on chain, or is that always going to sit off to the side? These aren't minor details. For a decentralized ecosystem, transparency is as valuable as technical progress. And right now, clarity is in short supply. As it stands, Utopia might bring institutional eyes to the protocol, but it won't bring much fire to the token. Caffeine, for all its beta stage quirks, might be the better bet if it can ignite the imagination of a new wave of builders. But imagination doesn't pay the burn rate. ICP's challenge is in creativity, its fuel. And without a clear answer to how cycle usage grows from here, even the best ideas may not light the fire. That's your start of week pulse check from Ledger Life. If you found this useful, share it around. And don't forget to check out the description for links to the donation wallet, ongoing projects. See you in the next one.